and welcome back to Pentiment, a medieval narrative adventure game. I am in the middle of Act 3, where I am playing as Magdalene Druckerin, the printer's daughter, rather than Andreas Maler, the artist. In the previous episode of Pentiment, I was the medieval version of Uber Eats, where I picked up Hannah's birthday treats from the baker and delivered them to the inn. Then I took a tour of the convent, where I met Sister Suzanne but failed to convince her to follow her dreams. I found out that Sister Marie saw a lost spirit by the cook fire, probably a real person using the same secret entrance that Caspar and Andreas discovered in Act 2. I talked with Sister Benedicta about an old book of Christian legends that she found hidden in the shed, and then I explored that very shed myself and discovered it was a workshop left behind by the Benedictine sisters. I found a torn page that mentioned the mysterious Mithrium again, and Sister Suzanne mentioned that brushes and paints sometimes go missing from the workshop. I saw a mural in the chapel and learned about the founding of the Abbey in 1261. And despite Mother Francisca and Father Thomas' concerns about my unnatural interest in painting, I declined their offer to become a nun. After all of that, I headed over to the Abbey ruins again and discovered that I was finally able to access the church. I had tried several times during Act 3 and could never get in there before. So let's see what awaits us inside in Pentiment. Into the church, finally. Oh, look at all the stained glass is ruined. And there's rubble. My God, this is amazing. I wonder what it must have looked like before the fire. Everything collapsed in the fire. I'll have to be careful climbing over this rubble to get past. This is a cutscene. I'm not doing anything here. I don't have to move her or do anything special. Oh shit. Oh no, I can't get back up there. If I climb, it might collapse further. I'll have to find another way out. Oh, this is creepy. Ooh. I remember being in here so often as Andreas Maler. Ooh, the bell tower. We can go in there. Okay, this door here leads to the crypt, but it looks like it's all ruined. We can't go that way. Oh, the bells have fallen. There's nothing left of the old staircase. I guess I can't go this way. These vines go all the way to the top, though. They look sturdy enough to hold my weight. Well, there's no other way out. Maybe I don't want to go out yet. I can see all of Tassing from here. I wonder if I can piece together the foundations of the Abbey and find a way to get to the library. I bet I could get down this way. The roof looks pretty stable. Oh, I wanted to finish looking around in the church, though. Oh, I'm kind of bummed that it didn't give me the option to be like, oh, I want to go back and look at the rest of the church. I didn't know I'd get roped into climbing out this way. But this is the scriptorium here. Alright, I'm in control again. And I can't go back the way I came in. I can't go into the scriptorium. Oh god. I remember when the library burned down. Dad told me I was just a baby, but I remember the flames coming out of the windows. So many people were screaming and running around. I cried myself to sleep that night. I haven't seen this place since then. It doesn't look like there's anything left inside. I suppose it was too much to hope for. Well, Magdalene, how are you going to get out of here? These roses seem to have made the Abbey their home. I'm glad something beautiful is still growing here. Oh, the cemetery. Can I look at any of the graves? Oh, there's roses here growing by that grave. I think that was the grave of the former abbot. Oh, there's something here. More roses. The Old Bailey. We can't go this way. That's completely closed off to us. That would have led to the animal pens and the abbot's house. And the abattoir. Or abattoir, or however you say that. Oh, this right here. That's the grave of Brother Piero. Oh, it would have been nice if we could have at least read the names on the graves. Into the cloister. I wonder if there was always this many cats at the Abbey. Perhaps I can ask Wojslav what he remembers during his time here. Yeah, you didn't think of that before? We've already been in to talk to Wojslav. Let's pet the kitty. Aww. This place is a mess. How sad. Yeah, there were lots of different places we could visit in here before. Everything is all rubble now. We can't get into any of them. Oh, we can go to the chapter house. Oh, we can look at this. This door is stuck. I can't get through this way. Okay. I guess we're going back to the chapter house. This is where the Baron was murdered. Oh, an old mural. It's worn, but I can still see some of the figures. A dance of death? What? These figures look new. The paint can't be more than a few years old. Someone's been adding to this. This feels wrong. Who would add new figures to the Dance of Death, and why? Dance of Death, an artistic allegory on the constancy of death. Illustrations often feature people from every station of society to communicate that death inevitably claims everyone from the peasant to the emperor. These look like people from the town, from here, people who died. That must be the Baron, and that's Otto. Wait, is that... Someone's here. Hello? Who are you? Oh my gosh. An Abbey forgotten. I think I've learned all I can from the ruins of the Abbey. It's so sad seeing it like this. The paintings over the Dance of Death, I'm not sure what to make of them. I think they're supposed to be people who died around the time of the revolt. Who would do such a thing? Were they made by the person who's following me? Is it the same person who was at the mine? The person who attacked my dad? The person that almost dropped a stone on our head? Could also be the same person that Sister Marie thought was a ghost by the fire, and whose Sister Suzanne said was stealing paints from the workshop. I thought it might be Father Thomas or Sister Amelie because they're the ones I suspect of sending around the purple notes in Act 1 and Act 2 and Act 3. But maybe it's this other person, because that was definitely not Father Thomas that we saw, or Sister Amelie, unless Sister Amelie is wearing a big beard disguise. I suspect it's Andreas Maler, but he's supposed to be dead, and I don't know how he would have continued living without anything to eat. I mean, how is he getting food and... Oh, he could live in the tunnels underneath, right? There's tunnels that go from underneath the Abbey and the convent all the way to the town and the forest and everything. So maybe that's how he survived the fire. There was some information at the end of Act 2 that seemed to indicate that he had been gone and declared dead, and his widow inherited some of his money or something, or didn't have to pay his debts or something like that. I don't remember exactly what it was, but why would he stay in the tunnels? Oh, you know what? I think that's Casper. I think that's Andreas Maler unable to save Casper from the fire. Oh my gosh. Oh, I think this is supposed to be the widow. She's got her husband's walking stick and she hit the Baron over the head with it. I don't think she actually did that, but that was the theory. So this would be the Baron? I don't know. Wow, this is crazy. The door. Whoever was watching me must have opened it. I don't like this. I think I've seen everything left of the Abbey. I want to get out of here. When did it start snowing? Well, probably while you were inside the Abbey ruins. Alright, now that we have explored the Abbey ruins, we need to see if Father Thomas will help us translate the Historia Tassiae Latin history book. We've asked everyone else we could possibly ask, except that I really wanted to ask Sister Suzanne. She seemed to know Latin really well, but the game didn't give me a chance to do that. God bless you, Magdalene. And God bless you, Father Thomas. Do you have a moment? Of course. What can I help you with? I wanted to ask you about Tassing's saints. I'd like to represent them in the Rat House. I'm thrilled to hear it. The saints will make a wonderful centerpiece for the murals. You misunderstand, Father. I may incorporate them, but there are other possibilities. No, not as a centerpiece, simply as part of Tassing's history. I'll say maybe. I'm still considering my options. Ah, then I will endeavor to convince you to include them. But you know there is one saint you're overlooking. Am I? I can say, or I can contemplate this. I'll contemplate it. Why, the Blessed Virgin, of course, Mary. Oh, well, I guess I didn't get much time to contemplate it. He just told me. Many people forget that Mary is the greatest saint. And she visited one of the peasants here in Tassing centuries ago. Really? The Virgin Mary appeared in Tassing? Why? In Tassing. Why is in capitalized? Okay, why? Yes, she appeared to give a message. Centuries ago, a farmer in the fields behind us had 3 visions of Mary. In the first, she told him that she wanted him to tell the Bishop of Freising that she had appeared. The peasant traveled down to Freising, but the bishop would not see or hear him. That seems like a reasonable response, all things considered. That's not a short trip. Keep listening. I mean, I don't know why the bishop wouldn't want to see someone that had traveled all that way and said they had a vision, so I'll say that's not a short trip. It certainly is not, but the peasant had received a holy vision. What else could one do in the face of a divine revelation? Maybe the Blessed Virgin should have appeared to the bishop instead of wasting a peasant's time. I can say that one because of my barbed background. Well, when you put it that way, or shrug. No, I'll use my barbed background. Magdalene. Such signs are often given to common people. And it is not our place to question divinity when it manifests plainly before us. So are you saying the common people are closer to God and receive more visions because actually, quote-unquote, holy people aren't really that close to God? Is that what you're telling me? Anyway, the peasant returned to Tassing and had another vision in the field. The Virgin showed him a pattern, a labyrinth. She told him to draw it on a sheet of birch bark and bring the drawing to the Bishop of Freising. Why didn't she just give him the labyrinth the first time? Keep listening. Yeah, why didn't she give him the labyrinth the first time? The bishop attempted to turn the peasant away. Oh, he's not even going to answer my question. Okay. The bishop attempted to turn the peasant away, but he could see the drawing of the labyrinth in his hands. It was the same image that the bishop had seen in a dream 3 nights earlier. Well, that's convenient. He met with the peasant who told him of the 2 apparitions he had seen here in Tassing. The bishop was moved by the peasant's story, and he came here to Tassing. The bishop came here? Keep listening. Al said the bishop came here? He did. It's the only time the bishop has ever come to Tassing. And when the bishop came, Mary appeared to both of them. She told the farmer that the town needed to build this church. She told the bishop to support the town. I had no idea that's where all of this came from. Keep listening. Yeah, I'll say I had no idea. I mean, why didn't he tell me this story before? I've been here all my life. It's not a story I tell much anymore. I suppose the people here think of Moritz and Satya, their connection to this place. Mary is such a core part of their prayers that they forget about our particular Mary. But in any case, Our Lady's demands were clear, so the bishop helped fund the creation of this church. Oh, okay. Yeah, I kind of wondered why there was a great big church up in the Abbey and then this little church down here in the town. Like, I just assumed it's because the Abbey church was only for the people living in the Abbey, but it seemed kind of big for their needs. The people of Tassing have been using it ever since. You're not from Tassing. How did you hear the story? When was the painting made? I think if I include the saints in the mural, I'll place Our Lady among them. Yeah, I want to know when the painting was made. There's that painting over there in the alcove of Mary cradling the labyrinth instead of baby Jesus. I'm not sure. Maybe 100 years ago. Maybe 300. And of course, I couldn't tell you the artist, unfortunately. But it's been here as long as anyone can remember. Thank you for the story, Father Thomas. Have I convinced you to include the saints prominently in the mural? You know, you actually have. I'm still considering it. I wouldn't be too hasty, Father. I'll just say I'm considering it. I don't want to commit to anything yet. Well, if deliberation fails you, perhaps you will find that prayer gives you greater clarity. God bless you and your work, Magdalene. Oh, now you're blessing my work? I thought you didn't want me to do the mural. God bless you, Father Thomas. I should get back to the rat house and get to work. Alright, but what about the Latin book, though? Oh, I can have another conversation, okay. Hello, Father Thomas. Can you spare a moment? Yes, of course, Magdalene. What is it? Well, I found this book. There we go. But I can't read the Latin very well. Could you help me translate it? The whole book? Oh dear, I can't afford that much time away from my duties right now. The Christmas sermon is coming up, and I've already fallen behind on Advent preparations. Could the matter wait, perhaps? I'd be happy to look it over after the festivities. Of course, Father, I suppose. Well, tell him it's for the mural and you want to get it done before Christmas. I'll say I suppose. Good. Dead end. Yeah, that didn't go anywhere. What the heck? Everyone is too distracted by their own work or doesn't know Latin well enough to read the Historia Taciae. I suppose I won't be able to use it as a reference for the mural after all. Oh, that's disappointing. I wish there was some way I could have gotten it translated. Maybe I needed to choose a background where I knew Latin, and I'd have to do it myself. There's no one else I can ask. All right. Anything else I can talk to you about? Oh, there is. Good day, Father Thomas. God bless you, Magdalene. Might I have a word with you, Father? I've got a bone to pick with you, Father. Given all your sermons against it, Father, I didn't expect you to be the town gossip. Ooh. I don't take your meaning, Magdalene. Oh, I think you do. I don't take kindly to your gossip with Mother Francisca about me. I've heard you still disapprove of my taking over the rat house mural. Yeah, right. He was talking to Mother Francisca about me. We'll choose that one. Magdalene, your work on the mural is no secret. Of course, your progress will be the talk of the town. I never meant for my discussion with the abbess to be taken for gossip, Magdalene. However, I am worried about your attitude towards your work. You displayed quite the insistence when you took up the project. Well, yeah, and my dad backed me up on it, too. You were there. An insistence that neither Mother Francisca nor I agree is healthy. Why not? I want to finish my dad's work for my dad. That's bad. Respectfully, Father, I don't believe this is any of your concern. So you and Mother Francisca tried to convince me to join the Poor Clares? Just admit it. You're only saying this because I'm a woman. You wouldn't tell us or Craft this shit. That's very sassy. And you know what? I want to say it because I can kind of relate. I used to be really sassy when I was younger. I went to high school in the 80s. And back then at the high school I went to, because it was in a small town, there were a lot of older male teachers. And they did not like me being in their classes. I took things like algebra and chemistry and stuff like that, and they were really jerks to me. And I wanted to be in the electronics class so I could be in the computer club. We didn't actually have computer classes yet. Computers were a thing, but they were very much kind of a fringe, niche, not very widespread thing. And there weren't actual computer classes at my high school. But you could be in the computer club, and I wanted to be in the computer club, but they wouldn't let me because they wouldn't let me be in the electronics classes because, and I quote, I'm a girl. So it was really shitty. It was really shitty. I'm going to say that. That is precisely why I'm concerned in the first place. Your attitude and behavior display a character that is not fitting for a young Christian woman. Magdalene, you are severely lacking the wisdom to understand your situation. Your father is in no condition to guide you, and you've gone motherless for most of your life. So you're saying because my dad got hit over the head, that's why he supported me when he said that he wanted me to do the mural? Remember there was that whole conversation in front of the whole council where they were gathered around his bed, and he was like, I'll never work for any of you again if you don't let my daughter do this or whatever. He totally backed me, which is great. Thank you, Dad. But, you know, Father Thomas was right there, so clearly I'm doing what my dad wanted. Mother Francisca and I are merely doing what we think is right. You need some sort of guidance. Well, it's none of your damn business. We agreed that you might be more open to the idea if Mother Francisca presented it. I hear you're concerned, Father, but this isn't your place. If I need your help, trust me to ask for it. I'm not some orphan who needs to be taken care of by the church, Father. I can look after myself. You're a gossip and a meddler, Father. Stop trying to influence my decisions and leave me to my mural. Well, this option here may have more implications than even she would know, but I know as the player that I am highly suspicious of Father Thomas and or Sister Amelie the Mystic, who lives there in the little alcove through the window. One or both of them, I suspect, are behind the purple ink notes that keep popping up throughout the game. So yeah, I'm going to accuse him of being a meddler. I apologize, Magdalene. I did not mean to overstep my bounds. Well, I'll give him some credit for apologizing and not just like bullying me a whole lot more, but still, the Lord called me to act, so I did. Thank you, Father. God bless you, Magdalene. All right. Is there anything else I can talk to him about? No. Okay. Well, that kind of irritates me that, like, I had to click on him several times to get all of his conversation options because it kept fading to black. Like, I was done with him. I was done with him. I was done with him. And now I wonder how many people in town I could have continued talking to, and I just didn't realize it. I missed out on those opportunities. That's kind of a bummer. All right, I guess we're supposed to head to the rat house now. Hey, Craft. Oh, I have more conversation with him. Hey, Magdalene, come to admire a well-chiseled craftsman at his best. Oh, you're cute. Where? I can't see one. Roll your eyes. Oh, I'll say where. I can't see one. Ouch, I suppose I stepped into that one. Have you come to see the repairs I've been doing then? To tell the truth, it's not going as well as I'd hoped. What seems to be the issue? I assumed I'd hit a snag either when it came to the stone or the tools, or my lack of artistic skill. But it's more than that. It's like in my head, I can't see the right way. Besides, my dad wants me to help out on the farm more, and I want to be there, but Grandpa taught me everything about the craft. He really wanted me to succeed, and I do enjoy the work. It's as if I can talk to the stone, you know? Not literally, but I can see how lines of tension flow through the rock. I understand how to form one thing from the other, how to create, make something that lasts. Grandma even offered to sponsor an apprenticeship under a master stonemason. Dad will support me either way, but I still feel like I'm pulled both directions at once, you know? Oh, am I going to be influencing his future as a stonemason? If you can support your family and it makes you happy, it's the right choice. You'll have to figure out the answer yourself. I can't help you with this. It's important to follow the guidance and needs of your elders. Yeah, but his elders are pulling him in two different directions. His grandma wants him to go be an apprentice, and then his dad wants him to work on the farm, and his grandpa wanted him to be a stonemason. So, like, he's being pulled in all different directions. That's the whole point here. You can't live by the rules and demands of others. I would say if you can support your family and it makes you happy, then, you know, do what you want to do. When you say it, it sounds the most reasonable way, doesn't it? But I still can't get away from the doubts. No one can fully escape their doubts, but don't let that stop you. God, I wish I had your confidence and fortitude. Did you learn all that from Claus? That's my dad, Claus. Christ, this is hard. I don't know what to do. I think you should take the apprenticeship. You should join your father on the farm. No, you should take the apprenticeship. If you like doing the stonemason thing, do the stonemason thing. It's better than staying in tasting, right? Oh, no, I can't convince him. Convince Kraft to take the apprenticeship, but I insulted him in the comments, so I cannot influence him. Oh, that's a bummer. I don't know. I like it here, and I have enough experience from Grandpa to keep going. Besides, if I'm gone, there will be no one to look after the town's stone. The church's foundation is in serious condition, and who's to say there won't be another flood come spring? No, I think I should stay. I'll have to tell Grandma I've made up my mind soon. Well, thanks for listening to me, Magdalene. No problem. That's what friends are for, right? He's kind of a cutie. I definitely like him better than Utz, or whatever his name is. That other guy that keeps calling me Mags, even though I keep telling him not to. Well, work beckons. Father Thomas asked me to reinforce the walls of the church. To be honest, I'd like to reuse stones from the ruins of the Abbey, but Father Thomas forbids it, says it's unseemly. It's just quality stone going to waste. I don't get it. A burnt ruin of an abbey is still a religious site. He's being meek, as he always is. How is that being meek? I don't understand why that's showing meekness if Father Thomas is like, hey, don't use the stones from the abbey. I don't get that. I'll say this one. A burnt ruin is still a religious site, as is the church, so it'd only be like stones from one holy building to another. Alright, stay well. Until later, Magdalene. Until then, Craft. Yeah, if I stay in the village, I might want to marry him. He seems cool. Apollo's got nothing else to say to me. Alright, how do I get to the rat house? Here we go. Let's work on the mural. I guess we're all done researching what we can research right now. Oh, it's Dr. Stoles. Good evening, Magdalene. Good evening, Dr. Stoles. I keep wanting to call him Dr. Scholes. I see you're progressing on the town mural. You've made rapid progress. I'm trying to finish it in time for Dad, you understand? It's taken longer than I've wanted. I have to get all of my other chores done too. Still think that I shouldn't be painting the mural, Dr. Stoles? With my barbed background, I can say I'm faring better than my father. Are your remedies even doing anything? Or with my tinker background, I can say, well, I've rigged the scaffolding sheets so that enough air can flow through. That way the layers dry quickly. I think I'll go with this one. This one's talking about my feelings of duty and love for my father. This one's kind of implying like, oh, it's so hard, I can't handle it. I don't want him to get that impression. And I don't want to be confrontational. Like, I don't care at this point. Yeah, I'll just say this one. I'm doing the best I can to give him as much time as I can. The rest is in God's hands. Thank you, it's appreciated. Of course. Now then, the council has asked to hear about your progress. I've been researching the early Christian history of Tassing after the Romans left. Learning how people settled in the ruins, how the abbey was founded, why our saints are so important to us. It was a lot to take in, but I've settled on my subject. And what have you chosen, if I may ask? Alright, I can say I'll paint St. Moritz, St. Satya, and Our Lady of the Labyrinth receiving the Christian settlers. I want to show history, how it happened. I'll paint Lady Kearsaw founding the abbey from the old Bergfried. I'll paint the Bavarians settling among the Roman ruins, starting the Christian history of Tassing. Well, I don't actually know a lot about that one. I think that option comes from talking to Sister Benedicta and that book that she said she read. But, I mean, it's kind of like not even secondhand. It's like third or fourth hand information. So I don't know if I like that. This one's probably based on the mural that I saw in the chapel at the convent and some other information that I've discovered around town about Lady Kearsaw. Yeah, that one's likely. I like that. I'll paint St. Moritz, St. Satya, and Our Lady of the Labyrinth. I do like the Lady of the Labyrinth thing. That's pretty cool. I mean, it's probably based on some more ancient Roman sort of thing because a lot of early Christian stuff does seem to be sort of like a rebranding of Roman or pagan things. But, I mean, the saints are awfully important to the town. I mean, I know this mural is supposed to be depicting the history of Tassing for generations to come, but it also needs to please the people on the council and it needs to please the people in the town. Or, as I've said before, they can just paint over it. So, I don't know if the founding of the Abbey is all that important to people right now. It probably was very important to people back before they burned it down in Act 2, but I think I'll go with the Saints. They are the Saints closest to Tassing and Kearsarge and have been part of our history for generations. The Saints are a central part of Tassing's identity and income. Honoring them in the mural Honoring them in the mural will be well received by the town. I think that's what it's supposed to say. The Lord will look on it favorably as well. Man, there are so many typos in this game. When I first started playing the game, there was a setting that I didn't change, I didn't mess with, but the words would start to show up and there'd be a little mistake in them, and then it would go back and kind of erase it and write over it. And it was just sort of a stylistic thing to show that like it was supposed to be similar to the idea of people doing calligraphy in a scriptorium, right? But it got on my nerves very quickly, so I toggled that off. And since then, I still find a lot of typos in the game. So I'm like, I don't know if those are typos that are just like actual typos that they missed when they made the game, or if they are typos that were supposed to have been corrected by the little correction animation that would come in. And I just turned that off so they don't get corrected now. I don't know. I wish I knew, because it kind of bothers me. I used to be a newspaper editor, so it's like the editor in me is just like cringes every time I see a typo. Alright, you must always keep in mind that the mural is not just for you, but for all of Tassing. I do keep that in mind, Dr. Stoles. I do. I remember. Nod. Just let me do my job, Doctor. Yeah, I'll say I remember. I get it. I'm picking up what you're putting down. I see. Very well. After this section, there's still so much work to do. I haven't even figured out how I'm going to portray the revolt. Ah, yes. I imagine it poses difficulties that the other murals do not. It's a strange thing to tell a story that still lives in the hearts of so many people here. I don't think anyone wants to talk about it. They've all just locked it away. It sounds like you have your work cut out for you. I'll leave you to it then. Oh, you don't have any opinions about this one, Dr. Stoles? He's like all up in my business, and then all of a sudden he's just so hands-off. Oh, Dr. Stoles. Yes? Have you ever seen someone lurking around the Abbey? Oh, never mind. Good night. Yeah, because that shadowy figure was following me around the salt mines and at the Abbey ruins. Or have you heard about it? I haven't been up to the Abbey in years, and no, I haven't heard of anything like that. Why? I've seen someone following me a few times. I'm sorry to hear that. Didn't you run into that odious woodsman, Haller Brandt, not long ago? I did. It wasn't a pleasant experience, yes, but I don't think it's the same person. Yeah, we zoomed in and looked, and it does not look like the same person. Similar, but not the same. Well, if you have concerns, you should ask one of the boys to escort you when you're out. There's no need to risk your safety. You're right. Good night, Dr. Stoles. Good night, Magdalene. Now I only have the final part of the mural to finish. How should I paint the revolt? Dad always talked about how the Archdeacon was the only one seeking justice in those days. But what was his name? The only name I can remember is the name of the Archdeacon who came to Tassing when that Baron was killed. Jacob Estler, or Jacob Estler. Maybe he wrote an account of the revolt as an Archdeacon. I'll write to him and ask. And of course, I need to write back to Esther, too. I'll write to them tonight before bed. Can I go up and talk to my dad? Does he have anything to talk to me about? Let's go check on him. Hey, Dad. Hello, Magdalene. Nope, he's got nothing to tell me. Nice house, though. I love this house. It kind of reminds me of the houses in Skyrim. Like the ones in Whiterun and, and Windhelm. Alright, where to begin? I'll write to the Archdeacon Jacob Estler and see if he can tell me about the revolt. I'll write a letter to Esther too. I hope the courier can make it through the passes before winter. Jacob Estler, formerly Archdeacon of Freising. My name is Magdalene Druckerin. I am an artist in the town of Tassing in Upper Bavaria. I believe you passed through our community when you investigated Baron Rothvogel's murder at Kearsau Abbey in 1518. Do you remember anything about that case that the people in Tassing might not remember? In particular, do you remember anything about someone writing notes to provoke the killer? What? I thought we were writing to him to find out about the revolt. Did you see any evidence that might suggest there was some sort of larger conspiracy at work? Do you have any reason to doubt the conclusion of the case? How do we know about the notes? I don't remember if Magdalene ever talked to anyone about the notes. I mean, she knows that her dad received a note. Yeah, I want to ask about this. More have appeared in Tassing in subsequent years, seemingly harbingers of death. Thank you for any help you can give. Magdalene Druckerin. Oh, okay, I guess we're not writing to him about the revolt at all. That's weird. Dearest Esther, I hope you are well. You must know how tremendously happy I am for you and Simon. And Elisha too, of course, and your parents. It warms my heart to know that your family is doing so well. Oh, I can see little snowflakes falling past the window outside. Oh, that's so cool. By the time this letter reaches you, I expect winter will have unfolded Tassing. It's already freezing at night, so I've reorganized the workshop so that the inks don't deteriorate. Do you have to worry about that in Prague? You've said it snows, but I always imagined it was warmer in winter. Dad is doing poorly, but at least he seems comfortable. He's sleeping more, but Dr. Stoll says that's a consequence of the colder weather. I do what I can for him, but this winter has been hard. I've asked Agnes for help, but there's only so much she and Dr. Stolz can do. Yeah, I asked Agnes, the village healer, and I also asked Sister Gertrude. She's the healer up at the convent. He's not going to make it, and there's nothing I can do. Christ, I'm scared, Esther. The mural is progressing well, but I can't shake the feeling that someone is following me. I keep seeing this figure around town. After I explored the mines to see Tassing's early history, and then again in the Abbey ruins. No one else in Tassing has seen anything, but some of the nuns say they've seen ghosts. If it's the person who attacked my dad, why are they following me? Whoever it is, I'm sure it's not anyone from Tassing, but what do they want with me? Well, I suspect it's Andreas Maler, even though he's supposedly dead, but she doesn't know that. If it's the person who attacked... I don't think Andreas Maler would attack her dad, though. Of course, again, she doesn't know that. I don't know, this seems like kind of a dumb thing to say. Like, if they attacked her dad because they didn't want her dad to paint the mural, that seems like the most obvious thing to me. I mean, she knows her dad got a note that said stop, and it was left with his mural papers. So somebody doesn't want her dad to paint the mural, and so they attacked him, and they didn't succeed in killing him. So now that she's painting the mural, maybe they're going to come after her. I'm going to mention the ghosts. It's the strangest thing, given me a fright a few times already. But I don't mean to worry you. Nothing's happened to me yet, so I think I'll be safe. The only good news I can share at the moment is that the mural is almost finished. Oh, good. We're almost done with this game. I've enjoyed it very much, and I like the game, but it has taken me a long time to finish it, and I have had so many technical difficulties, audio issues, and glitches and problems. I don't talk about them throughout the episodes. I just edit the episodes so that you guys can happily watch them without a bunch of interruptions and a bunch of my complaining. But it has really been quite the chore to get through this game. I should have it completed by Christmas or soon after, before the new year at least. Then perhaps at long last I shall be able to visit you and meet this Simon. Anyway, I fear that this will be my last letter of the year. The Reichspost has already been late and reported worsening snows through the passes. We seem to be stepping into a harsh winter. Stay warm and give my regards to your family and Simon. Yours always, Magda. Alright, we've written our letters. It's time to go to bed. How did this get here? What? How did what get... Oh, is it a letter or a note? Oh, it says stop. Is this a different note than the one her dad got? I mean, her dad's note said the same thing. This is just like the note Dad found. Who's doing this? Are they trying to scare me? Yeah, who's doing this? I have a feeling I'm going to find out sooner or later. I need to ask Dad about this. It can't be a coincidence. But he's been so weak, I don't want to upset him. I just need to wait for the right time. I hope there is a right time. What, so I can't go up here and talk to him about it right now? I mean, there's no time like the present. He may not make it through the night. He's living on borrowed time here, so, you know. Yeah, no, I guess she said she didn't want to upset him, but... She could just ask him about the note he already received. She doesn't have to tell him that she received notes, because then that would upset him. I guess we'll just go to bed. It's late. I should get some rest soon. Go to sleep, stay awake. Yep, let's go to sleep. Oh, a whole bunch of days are passing in tassing. It's December. December 4th. The Reichspostman says, Mr. Struckerin, only one letter for you today. Is it going to be from the Archdeacon or from Esther? The pass is nigh impossible to traverse, and the heavy snow is hard on the horse and me. Anyway, happy Advent, my dear. Thank you, the same to you. Ah, a reply from Jacob Estler. Mistress Druckerin. I do recall the Rothbogle case, though it has been over a decade since I have served as an archdeacon. I am no longer associated with the office of the Prince Bishop. In fact, I am no longer associated with the Catholic Church. Oh, really? If you do not mind conversing with a Lutheran, I will tell you what I remember. Oh, wow, he became a Lutheran. The notes you mentioned do stir something in my memory. One of the men I questioned at Kearsarge was an artist from Nuremberg, Andreas Maler. He mentioned finding notes written in a fine hand inciting individuals to violence against the Baron. While the scope of my investigation was too narrow to look into the matter, it did concern me. Finding more notes now after so many years must mean that their author is still active. If this is the case, a serpent has lain coiled in the bosom of your community for decades. It may lay there still. What causes this serpent to awaken every few years to stage a new killing? I fear that finding the answer to that question may draw you into its reach. However, if you are determined to find the source of the trouble, I believe you must inquire with your neighbors. I urge caution in your investigation into this matter. If the serpent merely sleeps, it may be dangerous to poke into its old resting places. I hope this has been of some help to you. May God bless and keep you safe. Jacob Essler. Ooh. No reply from Esther this time. It must have been delayed due to the heavy snow. The postman said I won't receive any more letters until spring. I'd better get back to the rat house then. Still more work to be done. Ooh, time's passing very quickly. Oh no, it's almost Christmas. Winter solstice. And Christmas Eve. Good morning, Dad. I finally caught up on the mural and now I can start final part today. What? And now I can start final part today. I think it's I can start the final part today. They're one of those weird typos. I promise I'll get it done. Magdalene, I'm proud of you. Thanks, Dad. I'm sorry Dr. Stoll said you can't come to the festivities tonight. I know how much you love the Parktenlauf. What is the Parktenlauf? A Germanic folk ritual celebrated around Christmas time in which townsfolk dress as Perkten and drive evil spirits from the town to protect it in the coming year. Ah, there's always next year. Right. How are you feeling? Dr. Stoll said he would come by again today. Fine, I'm fine. Are you sure? Do you need anything? Maybe I should stay home with you today. All right, I'll come by later to check on you. Oh no, I don't like the way that sounds. I'm going to say maybe I should stay home with you today. No, Magdalene, if you want to work, you should work. It's all right. In fact, my spirits are lifted today. It's Christmas Eve, after all. Of course. What's wrong? Dad, I found a note back in November. A note? What do you mean? It was like a note I found in your plans for the murals. Just a scrap of parchment. It looked like it came out of an old manuscript. Elaborate writing, purple ink. It just said, stop. Do you know where they came from? Who wrote them? Magdalene, Oh God, that must be Otts. He said he'd drop by with more firewood. If you know something, I'd like you to tell me, all right? I know, I will. Can we talk about it later? Oh, I have a terrible sinking feeling in my heart that there's not going to be a later. Dad? Nod. I'm going to say, Dad? I'll tell you, I promise. All right. I'll be back later. Good. Take care of yourself out there. Go outside. I need to get to work on the last part of the mural, but Utz said he'd stop by this morning. I should go out to meet him. Alright, let's go outside and meet Utz. I should start calling him Putz. Is there anything else over here? Oh. Still as messy as ever. Okay. Morning, Magdalene. Oh, at least he finally stopped calling me Mags. Morning, Utz. Cold out, isn't it? Freezing. Makes me envy Nico, able to stay inside all day. Even Andreas has his forge to keep him warm. Anyway, here, I brought some firewood for you and your dad. Thank you, Utz. I could have managed. Yeah, say thank you. Be grateful when people do things for you. Oh my gosh. You're welcome. So, how's your dad? You think he can join everyone for Christmas Mass? I think he'll stay in bed tonight. I'll do my best to be there. I need to keep working on the mural, though. I'm working on the final section. About the peasants' revolt, right? It feels weird to talk about. It affected Tassing so much, but we were just kids. I can't remember what happened since I was just a baby. I never even knew my dad. That's what makes it difficult. I need to ask those who were already adults that night, but don't want to touch raw nerves. What if you spoke to people while everyone was preparing for the Christmas festivities? Clara sometimes talks about that night. Mom, too. You might be able to ask them. Wojslav and Matilda are the only two Benedictines left living in Tassing. Maybe they'll talk to me. I didn't think of that. Still, the mural is for Tassing, not the old Abbey. Agnes has always been in tasking, right? I'd go to her if I were you. Dad said she helped bury everyone who died that night. I wonder if she'd talk about it. That's useless. She hates when anyone talks about the revolt. No, it's not useless. We'll try it. It's your project, Magdalene. Might be worth a try. I wrote to the old archdeacon about it, too. He thinks that the Baron's murder and Otto's death are connected to the revolt. Does he? Did he say that? The who? The man who came to Tasting for the Baron Rothvogel's murder. It doesn't matter. What if all the deaths in Tasting are connected? The old... never mind. Yeah, I'll explain. The man who came to Tasting for the Baron Rothvogel's murder. What about him? He was the judge for the Baron's murder. What if all the deaths in Tasting are connected? I don't see how that old Baron has anything to do with the revolt. Are you feeling all right? What are you trying to say, that I'm sick because you don't understand what I'm trying to tell you? I think you're looking for connections that aren't there. Maybe this mural project is getting to you. Yeah, no, dude. Why are you so dismissive? I need to get to the bottom of this, Putz. There's something more to all of this. I know it. Maybe you're right. I just can't shake the feeling someone is following me. Ugh, you're useless. Yeah, I'll say that maybe you're right. I can't shake the feeling someone is following me. You're acting weird. What, you're not concerned that I've noticed someone following me? You're just going to accuse me of being weird. What an ass. I'll figure it out somehow. Thanks for the wood. Thanks for nothing. See you later, Mags. Oh, there he goes again. What a dick. Oh my god. Ugh. Putz is right. I should start talking to people around town. I'd better get started if I want to talk to everyone before the Parktonlauf. Remembering the revolt. Let's have some good suggestions for my investigation. Did he, though? Did he? Many of the participants and witnesses of the peasant revolt are still alive and Tasting. I should speak with Agnes Steinerin about what she remembers. Clara's husband was right in the middle of everything. I should talk to her as well. There are probably a lot of people gathering at the Golden Hand to prepare for the Christmas feast. Some of them must have memories about what happened. All right, and that is where we are going to stop today. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. I hope you have enjoyed this episode of Pentiment. I think we are getting very close to the end, but I don't know if we only have one more episode or maybe 2 or 3 remaining. And don't forget to enter the Lansquenet card game giveaway. I have a video about that on my YouTube channel, but there's also information in the description. When I finish playing Pentiment, I'll be giving that card game away to someone. Special thanks to those of you who go above and beyond and do the YouTube memberships and super thanks. Every little bit helps, and I really appreciate it. Take care of yourselves. Until next time. Bye!